Hey, how's it going? Back again with another video. A few months ago, I said I was going to be doing the Skin Crawlers fan footage compendium. Well, with so much movie watching and unboxings and reviews to do, I found that a little bit difficult going through like every single fan footage movie I could get my hands on to do a compendium. So what I've decided to do is just compact things and condense them into a sort of ranking video. So instead of this idea of a compendium, sorry to disappoint, but I've decided to do my top 15 favourite fan footage films. Some of them I own on physical, others are what I own on digital and stuff I've seen on streaming. So there will be a few that I don't actually own physically in this ranking. It's going to be a top 15. I found 20 a little bit difficult with the subgenre. I love fan footage. I'm a huge fan footage junkie. I just found it a little bit difficult to do a top 20. So I've gone with a top 15. With some honourable mentions, so we'll get running through things in a sec. So forget about the compendium, sorry about that. I may go back to the idea at a later date where I cover like the good, the bad and the ugly in that subgenre of fan footage, but for now we'll do a top 15 of my personal favourites. And yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting one, so do hang about. I've got a list here as well. I did have to write it down. I compiled a list on this back of this envelope, and yeah, I'm happy with my list. It was quite difficult to do. There's going to be some honourable mentions because I do like a plethora of fan footage. It's just, these are my top 15 personal favourites. I'm not going to be including some movies particularly in this countdown. And one I just wanted to talk about before I get started with the countdown is the classic Cannibal Holocaust, excuse me. So Cannibal Holocaust, fantastic movie, great sort of like take on the whole like cannibalism and like this tribe in the middle of nowhere where a film crew go and ultimately meet their demise. But I don't really class that as a fan footage film, and I'll tell you why. Because it shows fan footage in the film, but after the fan footage and before, it's a movie. It's like filmed you know, characters going and watching this disturbing footage of this crew in the rainforest meeting these tribes. So I don't class Cannibal Holocaust as a fan footage film really, so I've not put it in this ranking. Whether you do is a different story. I mean, you can tell me about it in the comments section, but I don't think Cannibal Holocaust is a pure fan footage film, as it does have a narrative around the footage. So like it does have characters, like I said, going and watching this disturbing footage in the rainforest with the cannibals and the crew. So I don't really class that one as fan footage. But let's crack on with the list anyway, because I'll just be here waffling on all day. So coming in at number 15, might surprise a lot of people, but I do like it, but I'm not overly amazed by it. But it is one of the better fan footage films out there, and that's Wreck. It's a Spanish one. It's about a fire crew that get called to an apartment block, and yeah, there's a lot of tension and things going on, and basically there's these infected humans who are basically sort of zombie-like, and they're coming and attacking everybody. And this reporter's with the fire crew. She's took on more than she bargained for, took on more than she can chew, and she's got to get the hell out of there with the fire crew and the rest of the people who aren't infected, and they all subsequently end up trapped. That's Wreck at 20, and it did 15, sorry, and it did spawn sequels as well. There's Wreck 2 and 3 and 4. I've only seen up to 2, and I did like 2 as well. Coming in at 14, let's just check the list. Yeah, is VHS 2. So on the back there, you can see it there, VHS 2. This is made up of segments. It's anthology fan footage. So it's fan footage, but anthology style with different segments. And there's some great ones in VHS 2. VHS franchise has spawned a lot of sequels. I mean, this set's got the first one, 2, and Viral. Viral's not great, but VHS 2 is pretty damn good. And there's some really cool segments in there. And on Shudder have now taken over the VHS franchise, and they keep pumping out like 85 and 99 and 94, and they've been quite good. And I'm looking forward to another instalment, hopefully later on this year from VHS. But VHS 2 in at number 14. Coming in at 13 is a DVD copy I have, and the film is coming in at number 13 as well, as I do really like this found footage one. I'm just trying to gather a little bit of information as far as the directing's concerned. Yeah, directed by one of the creators of the Blair Witch Project, Eduardo Sanchez, I think it is, and that is Exists at number 13. It's a Bigfoot tale, Found footage, this group of people go on a vacation in their own one of their relatives' cabins, and they encounter a family of Bigfoots, and that's what the Bigfoot looks like, and it's really good. And it shows you the actual Bigfoot. You do see it in its entirety, full scale at the end, but it's really tense, and there's some good scenes, and it's a great found footage film, I personally think. Coming at number 12 is More Monsters, and that is a Norwegian film. I believe it's Norwegian anyway, and that's Troll Hunter. It is subtitled, so you do have to read the film, but it's fantastic. It's got some great... It's about this group going hunting for trolls on the Norwegian landscape, and they come across these big creatures and trolls coming out of the woodwork, and, you know, huge monsters, and they're filming them, and it's really good. Really adventurous and fun. That's Troll Hunter. Coming in at number 11 is one I actually don't own on physical, but I do own it on digital. I will throw the title up on the screen, and that is Butterfly Kisses. So these people making an independent film are looking to uncover the legend that if you stare down a tunnel for a certain period of time, you will see this character coming closer and closer, and they become cursed after filming this, and they can't blink, so you have to use a camera that doesn't, you know, that won't blink or something like that from what I can remember. But basically this entity keeps, every time they look at the footage, they see weird shadows and this entity getting closer and closer. It's quite mysterious, but Butterfly Kiss is at number 11. I really do like that one. And another one which I own on digital, not on physical, coming in at number 10. I'll throw it up on the screen again. That is Willow Creek, which is another film centred around Bigfoot. It's about a couple. They go to this remote town in the middle of nowhere sort of thing that basically use Bigfoot as a ploy to attract tourists. So the whole town's like obsessed with Bigfoot. There's like the Bigfoot cafe, and there's Bigfoot statues and the Bigfoot shop, and loads of people who claim to have seen Bigfoot. The couple go camping in the wilderness in that area, and they start hearing weird noises late at night in their tent. They keep hearing this like whoo, whoo, in the background, and it's from a distance, and it gets closer and closer, this whoo, whoo, and knocking of wood, because apparently Bigfoot knocks on bits of wood and trees. So that's Willow Creek coming in at number 10. I really like that one. Coming in at number 9 is Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This is the nice Scream Factory edition. Really cool movie, basically a mockumentary following this serial killer, Leslie Vernon, and it even has an appearance from Robert Englund in the film as well. But it's basically this crew are documenting the life of this guy who wants to be a serial killer, and he's stalking his female victim, and it just follows him around basically as he plans to enact this murder on this victim. And yeah, really good. Definitely recommend Behind the Mask. Yeah, definitely recommend that one. Coming in at number 8 is Creep. Now, this is big on Netflix. Well, it was a few years back, and there's Creep 2 as well, which I'll get to in a bit. But Creep's so cool. It's about this guy who hires a chap to film him. He says he's terminally ill, and he wants to be recorded, wants his last days recorded to show his girlfriend or something, his family relative. And he gets weirder and weirder and more obsessed with the guy doing the camera work, and it just descends into madness. There's some cool scenes there as well where he puts on the scary wolf mask, as you can probably see there. Sorry, it's still got this wrapper on, this has, but yeah, there's a scary wolf mask that he wears, and he basically turns into a psychotic obsessive stalker. And Creep's a really good found footage film. That's on Netflix as well. That's at number 8. Coming in at number 7 from one of my favourite found footage franchises, the Paranormal Activity one. That is the Marked one. So it's part 5. The way this ties up the other films is just phenomenal. At the end, basically, it shows you why they're hearing noises in the first film, because of these people who have basically travelled through time. And things get really messy a little bit, but it's so interesting, and I love the intricate way they tie this to the first film. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. The climax of this film, they start jumping, you know, time jumping, and it basically shows you why the events occur at the climax of the first film too. So really interesting stuff. Got a cool sort of like Latino vibe to it with the characters, and yeah. It's very different to the other Paranormal Activity films. It's almost like a spin-off, but it ties up the other films brilliantly, the Marked ones does. As I said about the climax, you'll know what I'm talking about if you've watched it and the other films in the series. But Marked ones is one of the standouts in the franchise. And I personally think it's fantastic, and I think it's got some great scares in there as well, like with the creepy little girls in the abandoned building and things like that. It's really got some good jump scares as well. The marked ones really like that. Coming at number 6 is a mockumentary, and that is Digging Up the Marrow. So it's all about monsters, and basically, what's the guy called? Adam Green. So the director of Hatchet, he did the Hatchet series and a horror film called Frozen, and some more stuff, mainly known for Hatchet. He's basically making a mockumentary, and he's contacting this chap who basically claims the monsters come out in the woods at night. And Adam Green's very interested and wants to make a film about this. So he starts going with this guy and his friend, and they start trying to see if these monsters are real. And yeah, it turns out they are. And these really weird, odd looking monsters are coming out of the woodwork. But it's such a fun film. And the monsters sort of come after them, and like, you know, they're trying to like... The monsters don't want to be identified. They don't want people knowing that they're lurking underground in the woods and things. So Digging Up the Marrow is really intriguing and a lot of fun as well. The monster effects look super fun. It's really weird and odd. There's some good scares in there, some dark bits, some humour. Brilliant. Love Digging Up the Marrow. Coming in at number 5 is another personal favourite of mine. My Blu-ray's still sealed because I watch it on demand normally when I do view it. But that is Grave Encounters. Now, I recently watched the Gunjayam Asylum limited edition from Second Sight, and I thought that was just a bad version of this. I think Grave Encounters does the haunted asylum found footage thing much better. This group basically are part of this paranormal ghost hunting reality TV show, go to stay in an abandoned asylum. They become trapped in there, and the walls are all sealed and they can't even get out, and they're stuck in like a sort of time loop where, you know, time's passing but they're stuck in limbo, and they're in there with all these weird ghosts and things. And there's some great jump scares, actual naturally good jump scares, not just crap with loud noises. Obviously there is loud noises in this film. It's not completely innocent of that sort of like technique of trying to thrill and scare the audience, but I think Grave Encounters is done really well, and it's a super one of my favourites, a super film, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I think the ghosts look cool, the pet inmates that are haunting this abandoned asylum. I love the whole idea of them being stuck in a limbo kind of weird time loop thing. Is really interesting, and yeah, Grave Encounters really does it for me. I love it. Coming in at number 5, that one. Okay, so we're getting through this quicker than I thought, but it's been fun. Coming in number 4 is the original Paranormal Activity. I got the lovely Second Sight big edition here on Blu-ray. I also have a standard copy as well, but yeah, Paranormal Activity started the whole franchise. This movie was made on quite a low budget and managed to have a humongous turnover. They made a lot of profit at the box office with this one, scaring audiences around 2008, I think it was, onwards, and then these sequels came out as well, and this started it all. And it's just so creepy, it's so weird, goes into some great like territory with like a cult and like, you know, like demonology and things like that, and it's got a great climax. And yeah, I love Paranormal Activity, and that's coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is one that I have on digital and that I watch on streaming. It's just got announced that that Umbrella Entertainment are doing a Hell House set of all the Hell House films. Well, my number 3 is the original Hell House. I think it's from 2015. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a great film. It's basically about these group of guys and this girl, this woman. They're setting up a haunt at the Abaddon Hotel, this abandoned sort of old hotel where some strange things have occurred in the past and it's supposed to be haunted. They're setting up a scary haunt. They're actually staying in the hotel as they prepare for the haunt and get it all prepped. And weird stuff starts happening, and there's some great scenes with like creepy imagery, and they've got the ghosts, and there's those clowns. They've got these props that are like clowns, and they keep moving from position to position. So they'll see the clown dummy or figure, you know, this big clown prop, look away, look back, the clown's there. They've not even seen it in motion, but it's actually managed to move, and that all comes into play in the rest of the sequels as well, because the sequels are pretty good. 2 and 3 I thought were quite good. Not so keen on 3. The new one, Origins, Hell House Origins, the Carmichael Manor, number 4 was fantastic as well. It just didn't quite make this countdown, but at number 3, Hell House, the original. Coming in at number 2 is another one of my personal favourite fan footage films, of course, and that is Paranormal Activity 3. Now, I love the first film, and I really like the marked ones, and I even like 2, and I even like 4, and I even kind of like 6. I like the whole franchise, but I think 3 does this really well. It tells the story of the 2 sisters when they're young girls, and it's set in the 80s as well, so it's all filmed on older equipment, so everything looks more vintage and retro. and it just tells the story of how Toby comes about, and the occult dealings their grandmother was involved in with witches. And it just expands the universe and story a lot more than the first two films do. But that's the idea, really. Start with the first two films, a little bit of mystery. Third one comes in and it completely blows everything out of the water and shows you why these events are happening and who the hell Toby is. And it's just so cool. It's got some great scares, some brilliant scenes, like when someone walks in the bedroom and the little girl's being held up by obviously by an entity that's invisible, that nobody can see, and her hair's been, you know, it's just got her hanging in the air with her hair pulled up. That's a really good scene. There's a Bloody Mary scene in the bathroom, which is pretty cool as well, where they get scratched and stuff. The guy does, who's in there like saying Bloody Mary, and obviously he's attacked by some entity, maybe Toby or something. But it's so cool, and yeah, it's just some great scenes. The earthquake scene's quite good, where there's like a tremor and like it's a bit chaotic in the house. But yeah, really good. Paranormal Activity 3 is top tier, one of the best found footage films out there, I think. So let's do some honourable mentions, if I can actually find my stuff. Yeah, so just bear with me a sec while I just get these out. So I wanted to do a couple of honourable mentions before we reach number one. This has just got released from Second Sight, The Sacrament. It's a 2013 film. This is great. Brilliant sort of found footage mockumentary style cult film. Very, very interesting. A more modern one that I enjoyed was Frogman. It's worth a mention. Grave Encounters 2, not as good as the first film, but interesting enough and worth a mention. Also, Hell House Origins, the Carmichael Manor is brilliant as well. That's from 2023. It's available on Shudder to watch, and I thought that was fantastic, and that's in my honourable mentions as well. So coming in at number one, probably not hard to tell if you watch the channel a bit because you follow me on Letterboxd, because I do have this in my favourites. But my favourite found footage film ever, one of my favourite films ever, my favourite horror film ever, obviously, and that is The Blair Witch Project. I've got the Blu-ray set of the original 1999 film and the 2016 sequel. We'll disclude Book of Shadows because that's not even found footage. That's weird. I would like to see it again, but it's a weird bit of canon, that is. But this is just a book of the Blair Witch Project talking about all the film notes and whatnot, and it's just fantastic. It just set the found footage genre alight. You know, sparked the fuse that was the sort of period from in the 2000s of like found footage carnage and madness. Obviously, things have died down a bit now, and the subgenre has been saturated. Of course, there's still some good ones that do crop up every so often, but it's been saturated. I'll even admit that as a junkie, as a found footage addict, I'll admit that it's a saturated genre, and it's not, there's some stinkers in there. But the Blair Witch Project sort of started it all for me. I know things like The Last Broadcast from 1997, is it, or 8, that predates this film. That's a found footage one. I don't like that at all. I think it's anticlimactic and rather underwhelming. I didn't want to put that in my top 15 list. Blair Witch for me is the ultimate found footage film. It sort of started the subgenre as like a mainstream staple in horror, you know, for that period, that sort of 2000 to like 2000 and a bit after 2012, say, when they were getting churned out. But yeah, I love the Blair Witch Project. It's so creepy. The idea of the legend of the Blair Witch is just really interesting and spooky, and the woods is crazy, where they're stuck in like Burkittsville, formerly known as Blair or wherever, you know, and it's just a really cool film, and things break down, and it's really scary at night time when they're hearing all the noises, and weird occult like witchy symbolic symbols are being left outside their tents. So they're waking up and there's all these symbolic things like bits of wood made into like witch symbols like that, all hanging from the trees, and some left outside of the tent where they're sleeping. And it's just really creepy. And you just got, if you've never seen it, you gotta go watch the Blair Witch Project. I love it. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. I think it's the best found footage film ever, and it's one of my favourite horror films. So that's my countdown pretty much. Did a few honourable mentions. Another one I didn't, it's called The Conspiracy. That's quite interesting. Put that in my honourable mentions. I know I've just done the number one and I did the honourable mentions before, but I quite like The Conspiracy. It's basically about this Tortoise Club or something, where these documentary makers basically sneak into this elite gathering, a bit like into Bohemian Grove, and which is supposed to be a real thing and whatnot. There's footage of it, and they sneak into that type of event, and yeah, things get a bit weird towards the end. But yeah, The Conspiracy is quite good. There's loads of found footage films. There's a few I didn't mention. There's a few I probably missed off the honourable mentions, but that's my top 15 anyway. I'll just run through them quickly. 15 Wreck, 14 VHS 2, 13 Exists, 12 Troll Hunter, 11 Butterfly Kisses, 10 Willow Creek, 9 Behind the Master Eyes of Leslie Vernon, 8 Creep, 7 Paranormal Activity 5, The Marked Ones, 6 Digging Up the Marrow, 5 Grave Encounters, 4 Paranormal Activity, 3 Hell House LLC, 2 Paranormal Activity 3, and coming in at number 1, The Blair Witch Project. So what's your favourite found footage film? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching anyway. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.